T-boy.
Big man.
Always on point.
Yeah.
What's scary?
I see American representing.
You know how we do. Welcome, my brother.
Thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Come. Hi guys, how you doing? On my moment of the week this week, I decided to take a sit down with my brother, friend, T-boy. He's been in the States for a number of years. My years, eh?
Hey, to my east, I'm offended.
What's up,
I'm
man?
offended. I'm okay. How are you?
Good, man. It's nice to catch up. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you too. I love what's going on here. Yeah, I know muntu wesatasha wakamba nchana kutasha. What's going on here? This is major inspiring if you ask me.
Thank you, brother. Thanks. It's your first time.
Oh yeah, it's my first time.
Okay.
This is kuja
down.
So why ponse paja mwezi kwa so and then kunwa manka.
Time, yeah.
Time.
T-boy, just really quickly, I thought we'd just catch up. A lot of people have not been sure what's been going on. First of all, let's talk about your music.
Yeah.
How could you have been bringing out, obviously releasing very big songs, nice music videos, then all of a sudden,
so, in life, even like when I was here, right, I love making experiments with my life, making experiments, because something for me is I need to find this place, Earth, better than I left it. So I don't believe in sticking to one thing.
Yeah.
Yes. I released that song when I was in the southern province, Pemba. I was a manager for FRF Pemba district. I decided to try that. So time nabana ndako America. Nabana stanje anyway first you never invent cheat. You know, so it's just me. I don't like sitting at one place, and I love growth. So growth comes with sometimes change that is uncomfortable. So I made that uncomfortable decision.
After you moved to the States, are you still doing music?
I'm still doing music. I'm still doing music though. It's very, very difficult though. I must admit. One, with my fans get split. The worst thing also is, it's a beautiful thing for me, but it's a waste for my fans. There's a split in my fan base, and I feel it because 2021 I released an album just before I joined the military. That album if you ask me, I think that's my best ever released album. And 2024, I released another album that didn't do very well in Zambia, but it took me to Hollywood at the Hollywood Africa prestigious awards. I was there nominated. I won a couple of other awards all around Africa while I was on deployment in Iraq.
Oh,
really? Okay, okay.
T-boy, what's your word to your fans? In that
word is we're releasing beautiful songs, 2 beautiful songs, and yeah, I'm still the same guy. I love you all, and I mean it from deep down my heart. That's what I'm about, guy. For those that have, been holding us, and I'm talking about Zambian music. All the fans that support Zambian music, keep supporting Zambian music, because this is what makes our country grow. The GDP is growing now because you guys keep supporting the music. GDP is yeah, but thank you very much for the support, and thank you very much Power FM, Power TV, Beats TV, for everything that you're doing for the Zambian music industry and for me personally.
So I know that the guys brought you in. They heard that you're on holiday. They got in touch with you. You've got a lot of interviews lined up today. You're doing radio, you're doing Beats TV, you're doing Power TV just now. So I'm not meant to hold you for a long time, but hey, good luck in what you're doing, man.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. I'm really inspired. Really inspired with whatsoever that I've found here.
Yeah.
I'm telling OC, I'm gonna make a video for OC so he sees. Because a picture in OC, a picture of Dalamani, Yaku Zambia. So I'm going to take a video and then send it to him. This is really nice. To anybody that is watching us right now, this is very inspiring, and I love what I'm seeing. So
we appreciate you, brother.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. To the Kenny T one-on-one podcast brought to you by Yatu T, right? Right now we're in Kitwe. We came all the way from Lusaka. We're at Forefront Apartments, one of the best places that you can ever stay at when you're in Kitwe, right? If you're looking for affordability, you're looking for good quality, good standards, home away from home, this is your place, right? This is a place to be. So we're actually in one of the apartments. one of their beautiful apartments. And I'm very privileged to be here and do an episode. My guest today, he's an artist. He's a singer, he's a songwriter, he's a producer, humanitarian, reality TV star, actor, and now turned politician. Macky 2. Amlaza mlishani.
Intro yeka fe.
Pandu fimbi shwere ngere nokuberenga. Buga ulishani.
Wino fe. Thanks for having me, man. Obviously it's long overdue. I don't know if that's on me or you.
I think it's mainly on me.
Oh, okay.
Than it is on you.
Okay, no.
But I'm very privileged that you made time.
Yeah.
We met 2 days ago in Lusaka.
Yeah.
And it was so nice how we spoke about the fact that we're meeting in Kitwe today.
Yeah.
And it has happened.
We're bringing it back home.
Very nice. You're looking sharp.
Thanks.
I was
looking at you and I was thinking, you have more swag than me. Studs, dark glasses. You don't know it's the tone down for yourself.
No politician, no bagay.
They say dress for the job you want, not the one you have.
Nice. I want somebody that come. So I think I'm dressing for the job I have. So it didn't natural fuala. No, wala fuala tie, wala fuala in sapato. Pugala isana fuala fe jeans na shane werao wala fuala fine. So I said, no, let's go.
Instead, why stay invite Macky 2? Stay invite Honorable Mulaza Kaira.
Honorable.
Yeah.
I see.
I'm
I'm very grateful to have you, though.
No, thank you so much for having me. I love what you're doing. And,
thank you.
I'm just glad to be part of it.
Great. Finally. So when he says, is it on me or you? I think there's been many times that we've been trying to sit down. Many times we've called him at short notice. And sometimes, due to circumstances, we haven't followed up. But we knew that one day this would happen. And for me, it's very important because almost 60% of the artists that I've spoken about or I've spoken to on my podcast have mentioned him. We heard of somebody who said, when I was starting out, I needed money for a music video. Macky 2 gave me 30,000. We'll talk about that a little later on. But I'm a politics, we'll talk about it in detail at the end. But how is it going?
So far, so good. I actually thought it would be harder than it's been. I mean, it hasn't been easy, but I just thought it would be harder.
Yeah.
The biggest challenge was, yes, we've made a pretty good name in the music industry, and people generally like what we've been able to do. I think I have very few haters. The haters tend to be fans at some point. So I knew I already had that base, but I also knew that politics was something completely different. There's situations where you may love a comedian, like, okay, we love what this guy does, but I don't think this guy should be now the person who has to decide life and death situations. You know what I mean? So I guess the hardest bit was that, getting people to not just look at you as an entertainer, but as a community leader.
Have you moved back to the Copper Belt?
A
man on a mission.
I mean, you can't lead people without really understanding what the situation is. And also, each time change, if you feel change again. So sometimes like me, I'm from the Copper Belt, born and bred. But in Guafiniko, the first 6 years ago, it's no longer the same Copper Belt. You know what I mean? Like, the issues that people are facing right now are very different from Lydia Kade.
That's interesting. So I'm also from here, and each time I come, and I also see something different. Some new faces. They're the old faces that I know that I'm hoping to meet up after the interview.
That time ya majera bo.
Yes. That time
aba majera bo bashinonsku. Moto wa pondo, but what is clean up. But there was a time
my friendly forces. No, I remember.
You know what I mean? Young son, Bashimumbi, Chilewan. You know what I mean? There was just that era.
I remember one day we're at an event, and one of my friends got into it with one of the boys, and then you know kakoswe tapa wa
that's poison.
kebele imo bakalamba imu ulubuli mule busho lutamanga lupwishe. I just went there. I said, what are you doing? Move away. It was serious that time, but you know we appreciate the copper belt. Can you imagine copper belt without Gerald balls, man?
Anyway, we'll talk about it nicely.
We'll talk about it later.
About it nicely, yeah.
So you're Macky 2, you're Flavor Boy, Ghetto President, King Buga.
I think what a lot of people tend to understand is that umuntu fe generally fe, we don't give enough credit to how smart your brain is. So the way you talk to your kids is very different from the way you talk to your bishop or the way you talk to your crew. So there are different shades of a person, that sort of thing. And what I just did consciously is create all those different outer egos. But that's all me.
Great. Interesting. Something I need to speak about is that we've always loved your music. We've loved your personality. And like you said, about being on this show, on your side, on my side, I'm truly honored to have you, because, we continue seeing what you're doing. And it's so interesting to see you transition into what you're getting yourself into.
Sorry, my phone.
The meeting
you. Imbika pa silent, but I can call alarm.
Nika alarm kanisha kono.
Kula sari kako. I'm a politics to him.
Oh, gaku sari kaka. Very important.
Vari kwa tenkuni.
So, Macky 2.
Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. So, I know that you grew up in Chingola.
Yeah.
Can we speak about your education? Which schools did you attend?
So maybe
just to try and understand you better.
Let's take it back even a few years back. So when I was born, both my parents were just starting out. I guess they were pretty much my age, or maybe even younger.
And which age is that?
Yarafueka calculate. So, but first, my dad was like a young accountant starting out. My mom was a preschool teacher. And technically, I'm the second born. I say technically because
I wanted to ask.
Wasavati after umfiasha sa followers sangat. Oh, mkalamba wesu first born had kwatana umbi mkalamba wako.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I won't dive into details.
Understood.
Yeah, but so I'm technically second born or third born. And my dad was this young accountant who moved from, I think he worked at 4 different banks before he passed on. So Kwadebati, a bigger opportunity somewhere else, and he moved to Luansha, then Ndola, and then eventually in Lusaka. So when he passed on, we stayed in Lusaka for a bit. That's how come I can speak a bit on Nyancha. But yeah, I started school at Kansenshi Basic School, actually, in Ndola. Then went to Lusaka Woodlands B for a year or 2, then went back to Chingola and Changa Basic School. I completed school in Chingola itself at Kabundi High School.
Okay.
Yeah.
So at that point when you're in Chingola, what were you aspiring to be? Did you think music? Were you thinking business? Did you want to be an accountant like your dad?
First of all, I think idingi, even when you are exposed and you are seeing all these people doing amazing things all over the world, I think that inspiration that you get from the people you are seeing around you is way more impactful than anything else.
That's true.
So at first I wanted to be like my dad, obviously. What about my dad and attacking? Now imiana ile waleta briefcase.
Akotuma number pamulu pale. Twako komena.
Kwati mulimpia kanji mu paper. But anyway, so I wanted to be like my dad, but by the 10th grade, I knew I sucked at math. So there was no way I was going to spend the rest of my life punishing myself, You know what I mean? So I leaned towards something that I was more inclined to do effortlessly. But also, remember, I grew up on a copper belt, and vashimaini fe kutwale muna fe bako bati stable job.
Yakwata mine number nganavenuka nabasendana kampompo.
Exactly. And it was there was so much pride in being a Shmine that Vashmine wale ndan muri works who took from mine plant. Sakunganda nafwala.
Limone sote nafwala.
Mwali ba maloka. Nkwachinja kunga koda kuine. But also like they would wear their ID card, like a badge of honor. You know what I mean? Like everyone needs to see. Especially kwadama idea bit. Kwadia white in shin permanent minor, then kwadia yellow in shin badama contractors.
Okay.
Ngakwata vine ya white. There was a part of me that just eventually just wanted to work in the mines. Luckily, by the time I was finishing school, I already fell in love with music, and I knew this is exactly what I wanted to do. Yeah.
Were you worried about your style? People accepting your style? Because you might not remember. I remember back in the day when I was here. You know, Miss CBU, I saw you on stage.
Yeah.
I heard you rap. You know, it was different for me. But I saw the passion and the aggression. I was like, okay, it'll be easy for people to accept his music. That was me talking to myself, based on the passion and the thing that, you know, the passion, the energy that you put in. But after that, it sort of like went quiet, and all of a sudden, boom, you know, your name blew. But do you have any anxieties though?
First of all, all of a sudden, Phiri have a story, and all of a sudden. Yes. So obviously, there are people like, I'll give you an example of Maps. Maps before Finally can give you a track record of like 10 years before that, or at least a good 7 of putting out music that just never blew up.
Never blew,
Yeah. So eating, when you see a new artist come on the scene, there's like a lot of work there are very few people that just, the first time you go into the studio, the first year you even blow up, there are very few people. A lot of people have like a story to tell. And so but from nowhere, all of a sudden, iringi ibafyati, yes, on the scene. For example, the first time I ever recorded a song professionally, obviously kwadi ukunu mukuka kwa bati namula fe chirimba sharp kwali sharp bareta at X buzz.
Kwatana kaka button ka green ka surround ngotini kaka.
So ugukside, there used to be those R&B instrumental tapes.
Yeah.
So ugukside now vikako tape yama instrumentals kwa vikako blank tape TDK. So that ngwadisha instrumental, then waimbamo, and then you take that same one that you've recorded, put on this side, and then you'd back yourself up. So there was that stuff even before 2002. But in 2002, I went into the studio for the first time. Like, and this is like, in Chingola, there were just maybe 2 studios. The whole Copper Belt, the only studio that everybody knew was obviously Paddy Uncle Joe Paddy, and Paddy Father Mia Permission Press Kundora. Yeah. This is before Ben Blazer, before any of this stuff. That's 2002. That's when I went into the studio. 10 years later, in 2011 to 2012, that's when I recorded a song called Maminuze with Afunika. Yeah. That's what I consider like my breakout song. You know what I mean? So there's a 10-year. Obviously, I had to my songs. So I quite go. There's a song I recorded called Nanaka. Walembe pafe mona fe fo anchinja ndimpondo ngakupono na fe wino. I had a bunch of
very, very, very typical. I think ngakupono na fe wino. Shakupono ni hapa.
Yeah, so the like sometimes I see some of the YSLB tendencies, and I see a lot of like the early Mac 2 in him, and I'm like, oh, at some point what I just did is I guess this is something that he's perfected, though he's not necessarily crossed over, is how I made those other outer egos. Like for Flavor Boy, for example, is when I started out, I was really influenced by hardcore hip hop. I just got that same hip hop influence, but did it in vernac. And it was already creating waves because I used to like that type of music. I used to make a lot of street influenced music, and it was already getting me places. There's this song I did with Dandy called Life Yandine na pita muila nshokesha ndafulunga. That song. That was the type of music I was making. But if you really want to turn this into a career that eventually you can earn a living off, then you must study the industry and you must study the game and see what works. So at some point I realized that the biggest names, the people who are actually making the money from the music, are people like Chameleon, Israel, JK, singers. And hence, Flavor Boy was born. Just an alter ego who made to my love songs, digestible music. So if you look at songs like that same Nanaka, Walembe Pafe, Monafe Fwanchinja, I'm not even rapping on those songs. I'm just singing. Throughout. But at some point, I'd realized that I was almost starting from square one because I had already created a base that had already gained traction on the street. So now, around that time, 2011, 2012, is I just merged the two. That's why the music became more danceable, but I was still rapping like the same old Max 2, more danceable, and it had a bit more melody in it.
We're going to speak about music in detail, but just to take you back a little bit. So when you're in school, what kind of a young boy were you? What kind of things did you do? Did you do the normal things? Were you obedient in school?
So, firstly, I believe a boy becomes a man between the ages of 15 and 25. You know what I mean? Before 15,
yeah.
But by 15, when you start hitting puberty, when you start falling in love for the first time, when your voice starts getting deeper and so on and so forth, you start getting some sort of grip on just your surrounding and how you're going to move. But at that particular time, my dad died and my mom died way young. So I moved from Lusaka, staying under a roof of this accountant guy who had done at that particular time pretty well for himself.
No, because back in the day, if you're an accountant, you got a good life.
Yeah, Kairi Noshta, 3,000 was I graduate every year.
Yeah, very full and
So I'd moved from Lusaka back to Chingola to stay with my dad, or my dad's youngest brother, the man who raised me. And he was a Shemaine, and we were staying in Kabundi East. If you've been there, it's like a 2-bedroom house. And
I've
it
heard
was
of
like
Kabundi, but never been.
7 or 8 of us in the house, meaning kulala pasit. Rwela wapujo kutamba TV from Wanshika. But akachero futi.
Acholo kubuka bwangu
Kubuka bwangu bapyange.
Ero nomanga bali ni bashmaini bayama. Kali bashmaini bali asana kumacha. So no kubuka bwangu futi.
Yeah, but it depends. Kari whatever day shift, afternoon and night.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, but so at that particular point in especially like between the 9th grade and the 12th grade, I knew what the surrounding was. I knew both my parents were dead, and these people who are keeping me are literally doing me a favor. They have no business taking care of me. Obviously, Akale, like the extended family was really extended family, and
it was quite strong. I mean, it was a normal thing for people to do.
Yeah. It truly took the village to raise a child. You know what I mean? It was really like an extended family. But sometimes kula bati uyu muntu ulenja fwa naye narefwa yowafuitishwa arefwa iko wafuitishwa. And I think I was sober enough or mature enough to recognize that situation. Like, oh, I appreciate that they've taken me in, but the situation here is I can't afford to be a burden here. I need to be an asset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I always tell this story about how kunumaya yadi twalikuiteka garden. Malibara mufima repu ifima 5 years, ifima shani.
Ma 5 years nifisi.
Malibara repu ile muniko ni repu ita 5 years. Yakula swap of 5 years.
Mwiziba.
Kamwaswa ya mena na imbi. Mwaswa ya noro 5 years. So kunu mayanganda malibara ko ifima onion ifima 5 years fitafine. Kuntanshuku byara kalonu akafiani. Konse kubiti kwadi ba green. Before tawula ya kuskuru kutapirisho kunoku wa futi ne chungulo
watapirisha.
Yeah. Even just like ukula wamisha kumuna ma window pa weekend kwa chako wafa tuipange kufe useful zona
umonike for the relevance kadi okay value ya moneka
ile moneka tawe ichinchi asset ichi futi wa ishibona kupanga ile cobra mwisho wa cobra
ile akashika ile
kwa ba two
awe
kwa ba ya red ne ya green but
ya kupanga ya kusanganya na paraffin okay
ero ile ba ni color fade ya kubika mo red or green ngamali ba advanced mo bika mo na ka scent
ile nunkila
lavender yeah but kwale banokupyanga fe nokushine munganda
shine brush roma nokuchibumba pupa kukona mumakona
just so that you're not a burden. You know what I mean? So because of that, even in school, I was never troublesome because I knew like the home I was coming from. You know what I mean?
I hear you.
But kusunga kove futu wambo kove bika program yako batalo kitawa fyash. Obviously kwali baido barandati mulandu mume. Au kumpula fe, meaning sometimes you just find yourself in trouble. You know what I mean? So sometimes kwali badela kite never fyash. Wafu afyo muntu mumsebo wampanga as such I represent. If you ask my parents or my uncle and my aunt, the people who raised me, clean record.
Yeah.
No issues.
Yeah.
I think even the first time I ever got arrested was Nishine Skulu na Dipuisha.
The first time I got arrested. What were kaka po mikuishingi?
Well, as a guy, fair, no 7-8 times normal. Kai tumbi tuma shishita, tumbi washitaka phone kakuiba. You know what I mean?
Shishite ko yaba?
Big curfew. 22 hours curfew.
Kai wafuma kuchira. Yeah. Wafuma kuchira. Ka transport tapani.
Sapanga na line. Yeah. So I guess because of that, I really tried by all means to stay out of trouble. You know, at some point, I even had like a small business of selling ice blocks just so I could pay for my extra lessons. Karkwasa about wapa monat chemical na maths na shadila. You know, I was bad at calculations and I knew it. Yeah. And I knew I had to do something about it. Yeah. Nomba already bare kusunga kofe bare kulipira ero futu wambe kubebati.
Ero futu tauri work.
Extra lessons.
Yeah.
So sawa vyo kwamba ka business guys block. Tore pangais. Ida inefe ya advanced. Kari kwa advice ida kwa bati chako sa charuke chiri block. Chako muntu nga fiompa. All the sweetness goes out chashara chi ice. Futu wale panga ida kubika mu ashinga maita tenderizer. Norombike mu fridge 2 days still mo na inaka.
Because I remember when I was young, tuwale kwata ngatuwa mkupula. Wajo kupula tefi.
Yes.
Ngatuwa mkupula tuwa mkushitama popcorn. Tuwale sana na ice block.
Na
you know, different flavors and stuff like that. Yeah.
What's sweet in balad?
Yeah. So you'd sell those and then you'd go and sell where?
Lessons. Kuskuru pakona feri mwawe kafika bucket pakona.
Then washitashitaba kushita.
Because I knew there's no way that I'm going to allow myself to fail. So even the subjects that I was not good at, typically I was backbench kulast, but maths ngayamba bakamba waserera kuna pantanshi.
Umfikisha.
Yeah. And I encourage a lot of young people, like sometimes kulisanga from my situation fintunafikosa, but there are ways that you can make either the people helping you feel like you make it easier on them, easier to help you. Yeah.
Do you think you became responsible at an age too early? Maybe because of circumstances.
Yeah, because it's almost like it was a wake up call for me. I did not have the luxury of uyu noro na abafyashi bako kubapanga ku plan. Uyu noro selo abafyashi bako baraisi bamufumi. Yo bakusunga kufya abafyashi bo balifwa. And sometimes people don't realize how bad they got it. You know what I mean? But I thank God I was sober enough to know how bad my situation is and to try and do something about it. Quite often kwamba fyokuya ku church. Because sometimes uchushi burarengo muntu aparamike mfumu.
But also I'm even thinking like if you lost your parents when you're very young, it's very difficult because you haven't gone through, you know, ngofika kwa ila stage yakwa now polite. It's easier, you know. But it's not easier. Isn't it easier at an early stage or at a young age for you to sort of like get into depression while you're trying to find yourself?
I don't know, man. So, okay, first of all, it depends on the person that these things are happening to. Because I would argue that if you grew up with your parents and then you lose them at a later stage, you've known the comfort of being around, you know, they've made decisions for you. Like, for example, I had cousins and just friends who had their parents and ended up being junkies and so on and so forth because they had that safety net of having your parents. You know what I mean? But if you lose them at an earlier age, chimono muntu wa kontolo kuru adinoro ati 9-11 kwa pola. But ngwasa kontara na sate.
Kubukalamba ilako sako.
Na tirobika motushimbi ilako sako still.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So and I get what you're saying. It's a bit rougher when you're younger, but I guess it's better somehow because it makes you become more responsible and so on and so forth.
Yeah, because you know, to your point, I've also seen situations where, you know, a child is growing up, parents are doing everything, good school, everything panganda. I look at way. But again, you find that kulibambia bale kulaba shikwete. But what they're doing is that they're fighting hard to try and be great, to try and make it for themselves. So it's really, I don't know how I could describe it, but very interestingly. So did you grow up with Shefi in this house or he was taken somewhere else?
So my older brother and my younger sister, Tewela, were somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah, because by the time my dad was dying, my older brother was like in the 12th grade. So nidi akobat alo. Mr. Disturb by the examination year. So and afterwards he went to college. So he wasn't with us. But me and Shefi have been together like from the time he was born. Yeah, from the time he was born.
Would you say you have a very good relationship with him?
Yes, I don't.
Are you very close?
Do you have brothers?
Yes, I do.
Oh, how? So somehow, and I don't know if it's an African thing.
Interview Okay, go ahead.
No, so somehow, I don't know if it's an African thing or it's a Zambian thing, but brothers almost never hang out together, especially when they are older. Unless maybe they are twins. But from like 15 going up, you won't find two brothers who hang out together. You know, that's sort of
very
for
common.
sisters. All the time. Sisters can even be like best friends. In fact, for brothers, quite a way they fight all the time. And earlier, that was me and him. Fight all the time. But if you heard that your young brother was beaten somewhere else, it's war. No, lo feo ina isa mkwita, isa mkobola. But you fight all the time. You beat him all the time. You know what I mean? But if someone else did it, but also brothers have most brothers have I love you, but I'll never ever tell you to your face.
Yeah, I hear you.
When was the last time you told your brother that I love you?
I don't remember, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think we have a very good relationship. He knows I'm a call away if he needs me. And yeah, I know he would do anything for me.
This is not about Shefi, it's about you. But I'll ask one final question. I hope. Are you proud of your brother, Shefi?
Very extremely maybe more proud than I should be. I should be envious at this point. But yeah, and you know, sometimes there's there are people that you genuinely want to see win. Because you know their story, you know, and you know they deserve it. It's beyond someone being your brother. It's just that, you know, like, even if this guy was not my brother, or they deserve everything they're getting.
Yeah.
From 2011, from maybe 2011 to 2012, me, I just believed I've seen a lot of greats, but I am the greatest. Quite confidence but
Dumukadi.
now babambia bali ahead of me, it's just a matter of time. And as time went on, even as I was denied all those awards, and I kept coming back, and I started winning Artist of the Year, Song of the Year, Album of the Year, all that stuff, I just knew. It wasn't even a surprise for me. It was just like, it's about time.
Yeah, Africa finished.
If you now we need 5 years. So I had that just felt self-belief and confidence. And while all this thing was happening, obviously, my brother was also getting some sort of traction. Maybe his first breakthrough was this song called Foolish Me. Foolish Me. Yeah, that's like, even before he had like my hip hop songs, Tu Shan Shan, but that was like a commercial song that everybody knew. And from that moment onwards, I don't know if this is like 2014 or something, but it ceased being Maktu's brother to just Shefi.
Yeah.
You know, that sort of thing. In 2016, I think this is 2016 to 2017, he dropped Amnesia. Now, this is the album that would change everything for him. I was party Mukawa in the room. It had like a number of bangers. And, you know, when you're an artist, it's hard to gauge where you are in terms of relevance, in terms of popularity, and so on and so forth. Because norori wakale noro po urimbo 15 years ago. Nga bari kuishiba ngwafuma panse kupunda aredinso. You know, that sort of thing. And people want to take a picture with you.
Absolutely.
For ever. I know people haven't put out music in 20 years and people still know them and they would want to take pictures with them. So for you to really know it, apanimpwa, pala kokola. But there are two ways that you know. One is obviously charts. People do charts all the time. So if you know they sang of paper chat somewhere.
Chachaka useless. Now in a poly.
They sang of somewhere. And back then it was a big thing. You know, it was local rhythms countdown.
Yeah.
There was top 10 at 10. You know what I mean? Like Evelyn Horn had their own thing. Like almost every radio station had that thing. That's one way of telling. The second way is in real time. So kulaba idea kwa namu ya kusho. Kudia artists nora 10. Hello MC. I don't know why MCs do this. MCs, which one is my camera? This one. She stopped doing it. So MCs do this where they go on the microphone, and there are a lot of artists, and they start screaming, "Who do you want on stage? Dismo! Shanyuko!" And the bigger the noise, then you know.
Yeah.
Obviously, sometimes it's different. Sometimes it's not just your audience. Sometimes you are playing at an event where there are younger people and your audience is older people,
older,
and so on and so forth. But it gives you like a real-time assessment of where you are, especially in terms of ranking the people that are there. So we're at this event, and for the first time, and sometimes they do this thing where the MC ambira koeshiva ati least popular elwayo uku ati ngana lumbule edishina the whole roof is going to come down. So they're mentioning all these people. Me, I'm chilling. Big dogs. She said, and then, obviously, they mention me and the crowd goes crazy. But they mention Shefi after me and the whole thing is just... And it's almost like you begin to realize that, oh, wow, the guy who was chasing me has actually passed me. You know what I mean? So it's almost like a thin line between you being proud and you realizing that, oh, snap, I'm the one who needs to put up my stockings now. You know what I mean? And say what you want about competition, but it's great for you yourself, for self-growth and just for you to keep pushing yourself, but also for the fans. What about you barandati? Insofunga shirero efuchulira mu fyani. But also kwali ba idea kwati if competition is stiff, the consumer benefits. Because if it's even selling goods, fiala cheaper. Just so they try and outbeat each other, and the consumer is the one who's going to benefit. So now it became sibling rivalry. At that particular point, you notice that, yes, I'm proud of this guy, and maybe some of the family bills are going to be directed to this guy now. You know what I mean? Ngabakutumina to atrefu akora okay, nala mtumina kona namba ya mwacho andani. But also, at that particular point, I realized like, okay, this is the guy to beat. And Peterson told me this thing a while back. I don't know if you can remember. He told me this thing that he was always chasing JK, Danny, and them. But at some point realized like, oh, wow, I've passed here. I'm the one that now everyone is looking at. And if you're not focused, sometimes you become stale. So competition is important. And apart from me just being proud of my brother and what he's been able to do, he's also provided some sort of bar that I initially set for him and others before, but now it's almost like he's taken it a notch higher. So now, if you realize like, his strength is really because he's a wordsmith. Like he's one of those people, he's a lyricist, like work about every line means something and it took time to write it. But yeah, from the moment he blew up, I took a bit more time with my lyrics also.
Look, I'm not
sorry,
saying...
I have no short answers.
No, it's all right. I need that. I'm not saying this because you're sitting here, but to be very honest, as a person that has worked in the media business for a long time, still working in media, Shefi is different. You know, it's not even... It's about his music, but also his persona. I don't know what it is about him, his discipline, his beliefs. I sat with him on the show, and I'm asking him questions. The way he's answering, I'm like, okay, wow. You know, for me, that's huge. Even humility is also very, very important. Now, Macky, I'll take you back again to something else. When you're growing up, who are you? Who influenced you? What kind of music would you listen to?
Obviously, my childhood influences in terms of music were as a result of my parents. My parents never listened to one genre.
Okay.
I guess a lot of people back then, I don't know if they didn't have access to like
other genres.
A lot of stuff. So where you say like, if I listen to hip hop, I can have like 10 artists to... No, I think they got what they got. So kwa debati, umo inumfiash, disco, reggae, rumba, itishan. You know what I mean? Now it's very specific. Like people like what they like. There are very few people who listen to like multiple genres like that. Yeah, but my parents really listened to a lot of music. So that's how I developed my love for music. But by the time I was like 14, 15, 16, I think a lot of it was Tupac, B.I.G., Jay-Z, Nas. That's the type of music I used to listen to a lot.
I know that in your early years, you started doing music videos. Nishabantu tabayishwa nokuyishwa. You're doing that
Chroma key. Yeah.
chroma key.
Yeah.
You were doing that and you're shooting videos, and I've spoken to many, including Slap. He says, no, he helped me shoot my music video.
Areva panga.
Huh?
Areva-
Where did you learn that from?
So remember, like, this is just an underprivileged kid from Kabundi East who's now trying to get into the music industry. There are not so many studios, so meaning it's very expensive and you can't afford.
Yeah.
They are not going to pay for studio time. So there's this one kid from my school called Feedback. That was his stage name. And he had done this song, paid for studio time, but just needed that part where he felt like he needed a rapper. So they told him, well, that guy. So he got me, went to the studio, recorded the song, and the producer liked my part so much that he told me, come back and I'll give you some time to record your own stuff. So that's how I sort of started recording. Never paid for any studio time. Like, for years, people just did me favors because they thought what I was doing was going somewhere and it was different. So the same thing I was saying at Panga ndapareponareka kwadi ati waipanga kwa asset.
Yes.
So nakura kwine ku studio. Wasai sangu shave errand boy. Now we start to record deko ambo kupyanga. Now we start record deko ambo kupanga ti wapangira ko ti wa stensho konse kubarefa.
So wamene chimwe chechira fly kwa around. Yeah.
So palasti ambo ko tininka kwapo. Ngapu ishoyu utininga ufika back. That's how initially I learned. And this is like in 2001, 2002. So remember, abantu ishi babonfyano rati Windows 98 na Windows 2000. Vivyo ma XP, vivyo ishireza later.
Ero ni alma computer ma monitor yako tengongo tefyo.
Chire chikuru chire. Hard drive 5 gig. RAM 256 MB.
Yeah.
Bakuti idi shefe chintu. So just being around those guys and them feeling like treating me like an intern.
And which studio is it?
There was a studio called Wave of Change, WOC, that transitioned into a company called Zirire Media.
Okay.
Yeah. So I learned most of the stuff there. So even just like shooting, quite about now kusenda fe udeika daylight. Pakuika daylight, kata kufena kamera. Iri pa stand. Yoku tininga vya kared. Tininga kared. Dule making sure kared so. Till eventually started doing a bit of post-production work, editing, ABCD. So when I left that studio to start Danger Zone with Bayoka, I had already gotten some sort of experience. So now I started experimenting with my own stuff. Eyoyama chroma. Now in the tare bati chroma key yako you have like a green
screen,
whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever fati. Na muya shitafe kasaruka shinganika 2 meters. Mwakabikafi. Some of those videos, if you see them, I could barely stand because nishwalafu mamu musa. So kulimina kwa na wikala. But in style but nishi ule na upima we mina takasaruka pelele.
Yeah.
You know. But we did wonders with that. I always encourage young people like, yo, don't wait till you have everything. Start with what you have. You know, and if you really have something, but you have to believe that it's possible yourself. And it wasn't smooth. It's not like everybody accepted what I was doing. Even now, I still have like the password to my first email address. Yahoo.co.shanyuko. So I used to send email addresses to Crisis, Innocent Kalaluka, whoever was doing something who I felt would help like my movement. And I never got a reply to any of those emails I used to send. This same studio had like an internet cafe. So if you have my internet,
akale kwadukia ku internet cafe pakutuma email.
So twalifishi beko no fine fyama. So I used to attach and send. But so now, when I see, it wasn't just
so someone's phone has gone off, and we were told to put our phones on silent. I wonder whose phone that is. Whose phone is it? All of a sudden, we know our phone. Aluva.
Alambikira ko fyo.
Ayo bigala ko fyo yakubwerera mu kungana.
Ero kai miyama. Ni 6.5 liters. 50 kwacha pe vum. So, what was I saying? I used to send these emails to these guys.
To these guys.
Crisis and so on and so forth. And I never got a reply. So now, later on, like 10 years later, when I checked that same sent folder, I know why they never called me back. It was weak. You know what I mean? So, but I can't hold it against them. The only thing I can hold against them is maybe their inability to prophesy or tell what's going to happen in the future. Because even you, obviously, you've seen people where you're like, okay, this is trash, but I see what it could be if it was polished. You know what I mean? And that's the only thing they didn't see. When I go back and listen, I know it was bad, but in the moment, I knew what it could be. Quite a confidence. So yeah, that's how I started with If You Fear My video.
Vayoka, how did you meet him? By the way, the same way I hear your name from artists, I also hear. I would want to meet Vayoka. I would want to meet him.
Yeah.
So almost a lot of people, a lot of artists that I speak to, then I was introduced to Vayoka. So how did you meet him?
Before I had like a proper solo career, I joined this rap group called Blackheads. Looking back, it's a crazy name to have. Anyway, so it was Scar, a guy called Dash DASH, and another artist called One Rego, and me. So it was the four of us. Okay. And Rego's friend introduced us to Vayoka as a promoter. At that particular point, Vayoka was Bob Mabege's promoter, Joe Boy's promoter. In fact, Joe Boy, Bob Mabege, and Suwilanji had a group called Bad Combination. So Vayoka was like their promoter. He would sponsor studio sessions and the like. So Vayoka used to run the Mona Lisa at in Chingola.
Okay.
Remember there was that Mona Lisa in Parkland?
That's the one I know. My friend George Christophidis owned it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So George also owned the one in
Chingola. Okay.
Later on, they even opened in Mufrila, if you remember very well.
Yes.
Yeah. So Vayoka used to run that one. I think he came from Lusaka to run that place. Artists mu promoter wa kulusako na kuno koto alikwata kwa artist. That's how I was introduced to him. But in a bizarre turn of events, Sasangati, his fiancée was like my cousin, my first cousin, my dad's eldest brother, his daughter. My dad's eldest brother's daughter was his fiancée. Later on, got married, and I just started staying at his house. So
did you have like a studio at his house?
Music, but sponsor artist.
Okay.
So now when I moved to his house, he bought this computer at some auction sale. Later kunganda nto abika pama Fruit Loops nama Cubase ambo kupange chongo mnganda rokusatu avata. Next to Mona Lisa, there's like a room they are renting out. So kuchira mule pangire chongo apo.
Muno.
That's how Danger Zone started. But over time, it was a small place. So wherever there's a studio, artists were just drawn to it. It was magnet. So Afunika came through, Baska, and the rest is history. But Danger Zone was obviously under Vayoka, as he financed everything. But also, like, it was home to a lot of artists, not just the usual ones, but almost every artist in Chungola came to Danger Zone, and their careers were kickstarted there because it became more than just a label. All of us became brothers, and it was really like a family. I always like to tell this story about how, for us, it was like, if one of us just makes it, all of us we've made it. Because that person will be like a ticket out of this shithole, be like a ladder. You know what I mean? So even just how we worked on each other's music was synchronized. Quite at the first song that blew up, or at least on a bigger scale, was Dandy's I Love You, Man. I Love You, Mommy. That song was produced by Baska. I shot the music video.
Oh, you shot the video. Yeah. I wanted to ask, actually.
Yeah. So Dandy was like the first guy to blow up. But you notice that on Dandy's second album, that's Chintere's album, the bonus track is actually Baska's Zuwa. Yeah. That Ndiwe Zuwa. In fact, when the song came out, a lot of people thought it was Dandy's song. But that was just a way of promoting Baska. You know what I mean? When Baska's Zuba album came out, the last song on his project was an Afunika song called Madinso. And that was Afunika's biggest song, like the launch of his career. On that album, the last song was Chico Eyes' Na Papa Tawamayo song. So there's a way that we just used to pull each other up and promote each other. When Dandy blew up, every time he would come to an event, whatever karosa kama artist, once kuimbapo before echipondo chirakwerapo, just as a way of promoting all of us. Yeah.
What made you leave Danger Zone?
So
you had a fallout.
Yeah.
Before you did under script hapa.
Script, you know.
Macky too had a fallout with Danger Zone. Ask him to tell us what happened. Then he went to work for Father Kanshamba at the Catholic Church in Chirilabombo.
Okay, so maybe this is probably the first time that I'm telling this story. Okay, you are getting exclusives.
Exclusive.
I don't think I've ever done an interview where I would even say anything that's negative about anyone. That's just not my thing. Quite a bit about ngamakwata issue kuya push kwene. Although ila philosophy yotalk that if you've got nothing good to say, don't say anything. So but me and Bayoka had some issue. So it was around the administrative side of the business. So if anyone runs a studio, or you can't get rich off a music studio in Zambia. You can't get rich off it. It's tricky. That's why there are very few successful labels. It's very tricky. But this is something that I came to learn way later when I had my own thing now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? At that particular point, kwade vati urimbo ni 100 kwacha urimbo. You know, that sort of thing. So 50 kwacha instrumental, 30 kwacha recording, 20 kwacha kashinga ni mixing and chan. But it was just ridiculously cheap. Maybe like if in 100 kwacha or 200 kwacha or something like that. So maybe that money would just pay rent and if you're namushtakolanchi or something, but it wasn't money that was bankable. You know what I mean? And Vayoka employed someone. And this is just like a boy who was just around the studio. Like, this one is going to be the manager. Whenever someone comes to record, he's the guy who collects the money. So that we keep a tab of how much money we're making. This is...
But pa first mwe lesen dan mwe.
Twale sorting a fiance fintfe.
So maybe he felt like the Mshimbi tashare fika.
Tashare fika. It wasn't even a secret. The main thing is for the artist to be successful.
Yeah.
That's where we're going to make the money.
Yeah.
Not collecting at umuntu aisana 200 kwacha. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was just to sustain what we were doing. You know what I mean? So nomba valeta manager. Yo karapo kempio. Yaenda shana hapo. Shinjikala pame hapo. Nomba mwenfumu.
You're going to talk to him now.
Yeah. Upkeep kaidi. Lafua ikakonde kwa something. Iwe. Wikala panganda. Ngandesa kunchito. Tuisa wonse. Nakupera kone ya transport. Nishi pressure ukwete.
Uli au ladia?
Ata nomba bigi. Ngandefa bamba nishikumi heba oroshana. But so nasa imona tai again because he was looking at it from a point of let's turn this into a business. So let's create
into a proper business.
And so on and so forth. Mona pati. But tekutari kansana nabakulu. Fotiri ba meetings. So during the day mwambale collector bana kwata vetu ma client tu iso ushiku.
Some crocodile mwambala ya.
Na ya. Be kwata kwa something. So nomba client wa bushiku. Asa isa mpoko rwimbo akasuka.
Yeah. No mwamba ipshat but wala kodelisa.
Rekodere that day ushiku mkuripota mwamba. So anyway, sabata iwe chitaso na so twalanda po yapo. So by third time, I say so first to do sangana bakoma ko first.
So third time yonishinisha abakureko dobushiku bari pitirisha. So nomba kube bafati mune kokisa mukisenda akasuba manyimbo
yenu. Nice akasuba. Nomba katuishi ama instruction yari shopo konga. And I'm sure you get this a lot at the station where someone collected money for playing something on the Shani.
Boss, we're struggling with it up to now.
Yeah, but some things, boss.
Voice note ya Isa.
Voice
note ya Isa. Kuja ku company kwa minuna lipira kwa romu kuja. Wezone kilo lipira ine. You're like, what?
Yeah, so finally he had enough. So now I get to the studio is locked. I walk down to the next
So
building.
first, wafika sanga studio na bako.
Nabako.
Ero watontonga nyashani nom.
No, there were times when I'd come and if Mwamba was not around, he would leave the keys by Vayoka's office. It's just next door.
Yeah.
So I walk down the stairs, go to Vayoka's office, and I tell her, Mwamba na shama keys atawe. Tashiri. Kina mkomeka. So I don't ask a lot. And he doesn't say much. So I just leave and go to Mwamba's house. There was a few streets down, but I walk. When I get there, he tells me, Vayoka na bankanyo kupera makizi. But I'm from... Did he tell you that you should come and get them? So now I call him. Vayoka, atuyuna mkanyo kumpera makizi. Kaita onfwa. So, and I can tell this story because me and Vayoka are good. You know what I mean? Like, family for life. But he tells me this. He tells me that, you are a talent, in an additional equipment. So I already have a talent, and I have equipment. Equipment. So in that situation, there are two things that I would have done. One, Vayoka is family. You know what I mean? I would have just waited for him to come down, then I would talk to him and I would get the keys and go back. But at the back of my mind, he could do this tomorrow again. You know what I mean? Narakushala panse fin. So, second option is to leave. I have no plan B. This is Danger Zone is the home I've known for the last more than 2 years. Everything that Danger Zone became, it was because of us and so on and so forth. But I decided to leave because I just felt like if I wait for me to gather resources, never comfortable or shine, it would never happen. You know what I mean? It comes back to that same thing where I was saying you need to start with what you have, where you are. You don't have to wait for things to be perfect. Sometimes I do things that are, like for example, imwe keninga kwasaba bati wa palefaka ko 5 million ya kushita motoka imbi kupapita na 3 years amwashita motoka ida because there's no sense of urgency. You know what I mean? You've got a nice car that you drive already. Wow. But if you don't find the 5 million, you're going to jail tomorrow. Lelorine 5 million kusangwa.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I didn't want to have the luxury of postponing my dreams based off like you just comfort. So kwa sabat, okay. Apena no tapari phone kwete na plan B kwete. Na life, I will make my way. But also how to make sure that I don't go back begging there. Kusha waponta.
Kwani vefyo.
If you kupwisha business na imwe yanko Kenny. Kusha waponta. Chako ba wika you have no option.
Ngawai mafoke but nari ponta kuna tetimkwelele. So what is a ponta?
Shock ponta. What paina ankana. I'm the one who made this Danger Zone you're talking about. Ponta no kuya. And you know, like the funny thing is, like, people say this a lot, but it's actually true. You don't know how strong you are till you have no choice but to be strong.
Yeah.
Every time you put yourself in a situation where you have no choice but to be strong, you get more things done than if you had options.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm an advocate of, you know, diversifying and, you know, don't put your eggs in one basket and all that stuff. Great. But I also believe that plan B causes you not to execute plan A with the effort that you would have if that was your only option. You know what I mean? So sometimes you create a option, and just in case this fails. The free if you have a mona in case I'm election they're running, in case the film vote na pona, narawele music. That shouldn't even be there. You know what I mean?
No, I agree with you. For me, my take is that each time you're about to undertake a project, for as long as you take a negative approach in any sense, you just need to be positive.
Yeah. So I just felt like everything you want to do, I think the first thing is you need to just calm down. And if you listen to your heart, sorry if it's too theoretical or deep, but there's just a knowing that you know, intuition. Akarenga fatu believer that it's possible, and if you follow through, the universe has a way of making it happen. God has a way of making it happen. So that's how I started Alpha Entertainments. I left Danger Zone, went to Chilabombwe, where I met Father GK, George Kashamba. He used to be the Catholic priest.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. He used to own a studio called Yatu at Kamenza Parish in Chilabombo. I worked there for 8 months.
What kind of work did you do there?
I was a producer, so chitako edit ama videos. Yarama video yaraba glorious band yara. Yeah, that last album, it's me who was editing. In fact, if you go back to just watch the credits there, my name is there somewhere. I used to record choirs and edit music videos and so on. I worked there for 8 months, raising money to buy my own equipment.
We.
But what had happened now is 8 months of every penny you'd save it every 8 months later. And like I said, Bayoka and all those guys are family. So by the time you've got 8 months, I've bought my own equipment. Nish, I'd already started talking to Bayoka and the like. Nish, ka relationship kari bwela kofi.
What do you have to apologize?
It happens naturally. I just kumana for family event. The wedding ya muntu.
Sometimes apology te kulanda. Femi chitile fe yafini.
Uh-huh.
Ya bakumba tako.
We
Mishari bakalamba.
Bwino. Shana kesa pitirako. So 8 months later, I'd bought enough equipment, and when I was going to Chilabombo, akafukushaka kwa bati. When I raise enough money to buy myself equipment, I'm going to rent the next room next to Danger Zone. Put them out of business. Built that. But like I said, you can't keep a grudge that long. You know what I mean? Especially with people that became family, people that you went through so much.
But you know what wala sunga kambala.
You only shall have a problem.
Because I always say this, ninji mini napamulute, nasa kutuka. Wasala ndati, na aisankume na panga nkwete. Ila waisa pamulu wasanga nimbutuka. 2 days later nga wansanga, tawafo kunguma na panga. You get what I mean? Because now you've come down.
Yes.
And there's also just the power of that let me sleep over it.
Yes.
It's not to be taken lightly. But quite babambi 3 years adi kalafari chikwatafi.
Quite that I beefy bitidire.
Yeah.
But anyway, by the time that 8 months was elapsing, me and
You're good.
Bayoka had made amends, and I decided I was going to set up my studio in Ndola and not Chingola, because now you're going to be competing against your people. So I went and set up Alpha Entertainments in Ndola. That's why it's called Alpha. Alpha is the beginning.
The beginning.
Yeah. Because I felt like this is a new start for me. So everything that you heard before, like after 2008, in 2009, that's when everything now begins to unfold. That's when
it was like a rebirth.
Really starts to take off. Yeah.
So under Alpha Entertainment, which artists did you sign first? How many did you have? And where are we now with Alpha Entertainment?
So I think even that thing for really putting ink to paper only came later on. There are very few artists who actually were signed to Alpha Entertainments. For the most part, it was just I moved to Lusaka, so people I used to make music with in Chingola, or I moved in Ndola. People that I used to make music with in Chingola start coming to Ndola. But sometimes we're guy in studio house. We rent this house and then we have a studio in it. I said them go dorimbo but I kadira no yakumya. Asanga but now why should 3 years ago? Why? Tire. So yeah, my brother came, Kozim came, DJ Hector Gold, Dice, Cream Dollar, Nice M, later on Pilato, Joe Bliga, Kiss B, 15 other artists. Drifter joined us, HD, Empire, J-Max, Nabambi.
So for you as Macky too, did you move to Lusaka nishambiro kuchitika, or no, actually you were still on the Copper Belt. We know that there was that beef that was there between you and
since like in 2011
XYZ. I slapped this question, I asked you as well. Was that beef real?
Yeah, it was.
It was
It was actually 2 APs. Like 2 songs, 2 diss songs. He had 2 diss songs. Yeah. I don't know how he recounts this whole thing, but on my end, and even before that thing happened, there was a mutual guy in between. There was this guy called Sync Sounds.
I know Sync.
Yeah. So Sync, at some point, I don't know if he used to be Slap's manager or used to help him out with stuff, but Sync used to do the same thing for me. It was like my Lusaka manager. Whenever I'd be in Lusaka, I'd go to his house and so on and so forth. So there are a million times where we were found in the same space. Also, I made videos for Rough Kid, I made videos for Slap, and so on and so forth. So there was an actual relationship. I wouldn't necessarily say we're friends, but there was an actual relationship. But on this fateful night, the Born and Bred Awards, I don't know if these are the Born and Bred Awards 2009. I'm nominated for these awards and I don't win. And I put out a song called 2010, Atihao 2010.
What was the song about?
2009, Monasa, but not 2010.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So it was like a song that I dropped beginning of 2010. Like, hey, last year was your year, but this year is my year. That's what the song is. But obviously, I name drop a lot of people in the song. In 2010, the Born and Bred in 2010, I get nominated for a number of awards, and I don't win. It's at the peak of XYZ, you know what I mean? Rough Kid wins an award, Slap wins an award, and so on and so forth. And backstage, when Rough won his award, he was actually teasing me. He was telling me, mu 2019 nasamwa na 2010 tasamwa. And it was a joke.
Yeah.
And when Slap won his award and went on stage and said the same thing, for me, who was backstage and Raf just said that to me a few minutes ago, it was a joke. Didn't think much of it. When I got home and I found Kafon Karishimin, Sanga Pestama messages. That's why sometimes I think bringing it to the political side, Damaka does sometimes what I send us on a person
Yeah.
And I guess it's the same thing with music. Sometimes you have like clout following, like people who go to war for you.
Yeah.
For you, maybe it's not even that deep, but
yeah.
for them, you can't say that.
So I'm a message finish here land.
Wakamba. Udia ungalalanda fida padimu. Kopala. Adishi wakopala udia. So, as a businessman that I am, also as someone who understands the business is you're only as good as your audience. And I tell people this all the time, no matter how dope you are, if people think you suck, you suck. You know what I mean? No matter how much people think you suck, if people think it's dope, then it's dope. I really think Swankiti and them are some of the dopest artists in the industry. You can say what you want, but they get people moving, they get people talking, they get people making videos to their stuff. And that's it. Like 3/4 of this thing, yes, beautiful. It's inspiring, it's educative, you teach people through your music. But most of it should be entertainment. People listen to music for entertainment.
Yeah.
So if you can get people glued and entertained, job done.
So what did you do?
You know what I mean? So I figured, there's an opportunity here. So for me, even when I say like the beef was real, is where people have instigated. Simuna bakutunka. So that same day, I got home, checked on my phone. My phone was blowing up. People calling me left, right, and center. Next morning, drove back to Ndola, recorded that song. By evening, we had shot the music video and it was out. The next day.
And which song did you record?
A song called Zambian Hip Hop.
So I'm a lyrics here, Adishan.
Because
because even when I had the chat with Slap, I think okay, to question.
No, I guess people who are familiar with me and Slap and our history know the song. It's called Zambian Hip Hop. XYZ, that song. Yeah. So I think for him, at that particular point, he was a bigger artist. He just felt like, and Ngawariko ngafe, wino fengana. You start understanding that you start banking on the fact that he responds.
Actually respond.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's why you never see me respond to any people who say anything online, because I understand that you are feeling it. You make people feel like he sees me. You know what I mean? Someone says trash about the podcast.
Yeah.
The podcast replies,
Eh.
come on, about, hey, now Ishua. Let's say more crazy things, crazier things, so that we keep this going. You know what I mean? So he took some time to respond, but responded with a song called something about the I can't really remember the song. But immediately he put out that song. In 2 days, we had a response. And as we were even shooting music videos, we were serious. We were serious. But yeah, it at some point, like I said, for me, it was just, oh, there's an opportunity here. This guy said this and people want this type of energy. We put out the song, but when he put out the song, it almost now became real. So when I say it was real, is because things were said and so on and so forth. And one thing about like a reputation is it takes years to build a reputation and can take a day to destroy it. You know what I mean? So if you are not just for artists, but especially for public figures, you have to guard your reputation. You know what I mean? People say like, hey, can't answer every barking dog, or you can't respond to everything, and so on and so forth. But your story is being written, whether you like it or not. It's been written. Just make sure you're the one who's writing it. You know what I mean? Or if you're not writing it, should be able to look at hello.
Find a way of controlling the narrative.
Yes, you should always. So there are things that were said where I just felt like, yeah, I need to correct. And before you know it, it becomes as real as possible. But again, it goes back to how important competition is to this thing that we do. It brought out the best in us. They say iron sharpens iron. I feel there were times when I would feel like, oh, I've done pretty well. And some for that, no mbanish. No mbanish. You go to the studio and make, you know what I mean? So there was a lot of back and forth, even after the beef, where you just felt like, oh, I need to come harder. Oh, he's done that. And the comparisons or the camps didn't help. People talk about how the beef created camps between Lusaka and the Copper Belt and all that stuff. But I think it also created some excitement within the industry. And sometimes people want to feel like they belong to something that's bigger than themselves. So we created that that platform. For us, Kopala Swag became like a movement, because now everyone from the Copper Belt felt like they had to represent the Copper Belt. And for me, it was great, because I am not going to call this Alpha Entertainment something. I need to call it Kopala Swag, so that every person from the Copper Belt feels like they have to identify with this and not that. Yeah.
Get it. This is the Kenny T One-on-One podcast, brought to you by Yatu T. We'll take a break and we'll be right back. This is the Kenny T One-on-One podcast. We're having a chat with Macky 2. We're in Kitwe and we're at the Forefront Apartments in Kitwe. Now, you did a song, and before I talk about the song, you know, I had Slap, since we're talking about Slap a little bit, I had him on this podcast. He told the story, he narrated the story, I think, in almost the exact way that you've narrated it. But also something that I've loved today is the fact that the same respect, the love, and you know everything else that comes with it that you've said about him, he had great things to say about you as well. You know, and in that space, you you did a song called Dear Slapdee.
Yeah.
What motivated that song?
So I don't know if you know this, but I've got this series called 5 Letters from the King. So 5 Letters from the King are just letters I wrote. So the first one was Dear Dad.
Mm-hmm.
The second one was Dear Best Friend. That was the third one. Dear Slap. I also have Dear Sister, Dear President, Dear coming after later.
Ukachayiko kamwa Dear Bakeni, eh?
Dear Baken.
Ulachayira bonse botarufu kunchayira kuti.
Kuimba fe no first mfulina za pishat. What do you think? Should I put it out or should I
Out feel twala.
No, we come out tundu. Yeah, but
it's a joke, by the way.
So I was already doing that series, and a thought crossed my path. Especially it happened at a time when obviously there's this thing that he has with Y Celeb. I don't know. I don't even know what that is. I can't call it beef, but they have that thing. And I talk to Y Celeb all the time. That's one brilliant artist who I feel like the same thing I'm saying. I see a lot of me in him. You know what I mean? But one thing that even you attest to is Y Celeb tapare for Mwape. Y Celeb is going to do Y Celeb all day, every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I needed to set some sort of tone in terms of just if I see a younger artist, or at least from a younger generation, Y Celeb artists, do anything that's disrespectful to someone like Slap or JK, or I feel like it indirectly, I don't want to say affects me, but like disrespect to someone like Slap is disrespect to me. You know what I mean? I just feel like there's a certain level of respect that's owed to people who were there before. Even just like the Chameleons and Danny's and Abis just deserve a certain level of respect from us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And regardless what their issues are, and I haven't bothered to really find out what I just felt like we need to reinforce the amount of respect that needs to be on certain people. And the initial idea was the first verse to be Dear Slap, the second verse to be like Dear Danny, and just appreciate like a number of artists that came before me or where I feel like deserve a certain level of respect. But then nasa ngafati ninkwate fingi fya kulanda. Lolo alukavati luimbolonse lwa so maybe later on I'll do like a Dear Danny or Dear Exile and so on and so forth. So I just felt like it was important for people to abantu balalaba big.
No, it's true. It's true.
Balalaba kusamoneko wati even just someone like Chameleon, for example. Like I see him being ridiculed and people just saying things anyhow. But you know what I mean? Like, to me, that's a legend in my eyes. You know what I mean? Danny, Chameleon, Exile, they just deserve a certain level of respect where, no, Rach Tefia Upubanga Lore Shapekum. You know, Balandat, Infumu, no, Royat, no, Royat, gonna go to it. So, yeah, I just felt it was important for me to put out a song like that and say those things to Slap, to reinforce a level of respect that should be accorded to someone like him. And coming from me to him, I feel like it carried a bit more weight than if someone else had said it.
No, absolutely.
Because coming from me would would feel more honest than if Bobby said it.
No. Yeah, because I get it. And you see, like I said, one thing that brings a lot of respect, well, in my book, the things you say, the respect you have for him is almost the same respect and the things you say about you. So it's very rare because, you know, usually, especially guys who are in rap, hip hop, you know, it's all about disses and all of that. But you know, I can see how you guys have matured as artists, how you respect each other. It's inspirational, and I hope that artists can also, you know, learn something from the two of you.
And for me, it's because after the song came out, there was all this thing about, is he going to respond? I should respond. He should write a song about it. But for me, I look at it like a one-way street. You know what I mean? Like if I say like, hey, you look nice. You don't have to say you look nice also. Compliment me. In fact, if I say you look nice, it's my moment, it's my thing. You don't have to take part in it.
Yeah,
it's okay.
And the truth is that if there was need, if he felt compelled himself at his own accord, you know, then it's different.
I don't. I wasn't expecting a response. You know. Yeah.
So just before we jump to politics, we'll talk about some of the accolades that you've gotten as an artist. Toela, when did she start singing? Did you know she could sing like this?
So first of all, people might not know this, but my older brother was the one who started recording first. He was
a musician. Yeah.
But at some point, I guess he realized. But then also, and this is my opinion, what talent yarefuma kumulu ero yaireva concentrated ide yaide kalipirako wamonetsaringa muledi kumulu kuda
kumushuda kunshika iri
kumulu kuda kumushuda kuda kula vati useless.
That's why nga bakukontwera bakupere cha kumulu ni cha pale foga kuchita.
So for us, that's how I feel. I feel like amongst all of us, Toela is the most naturally gifted. Yeah.
But she can sing.
If you want to kung fu bueno, because like me, for example, I think my strength is just knowing what like a catchy hook would feel like, or what a dope beat would be, and what would be a catchy thing to say. My young brother's strength, I believe, is his ability to write. Like he can really write. Like I said, he's a lyricist, a proper wordsmith. You know what I mean? My sister is just giftedly talented, like angelic voice.
No, she can sing.
Never na kwete ya. Bimbingana we no kama Grammy or 4. Idia. But whatever kupapata. Toela come to the studio. Toela
she didn't really want.
She didn't want anything to do with it. She went to UNZA, graduated, then came and joined us. If you look at some of our earlier music, she sings here and there. I've got a song called Hands in the Air. I feel like spending all my money. She's the one who sings. Sheffy's got a song called Love You. Love you. I'll always love you. She's the one who sings that. But this is like before tarefwa no kufwa. Kwa lewa feku ya mkupatikisha so imbe kwa. But yeah, later on, when she was finally ready, you could see that she wants it and she knows exactly what she wants. I don't think both me and my young brother have been really instrumental in like, okay, this is the direction you're going to take. In fact, some songs I even disapprove of it. Zingati. You know what I mean? So she's had some sort of creative freedom to do what she wants, and I guess us having to go before her sort of gives her a bit of immunity in certain spaces. And quite a fair did. Let's
speak about your journey with Kalandanya Music.
Yeah.
Really quickly. How did that come about? I know that you were in top management.
You're not the artist.
President Did he have a senior position in Kalandanya?
People assumed that are at a senior position. But so
or maybe you made in your spirit, the way you do things, you go in for one thing, but you're picking up many other things, and people are thinking,
decision making
Yeah.
meetings, but
Yeah.
initially I was just an artist. I didn't hold any. Okay, so Wadia Kalandani, very generous guy, changed the lives of a lot of musicians in the country. You know what I mean? But guy not a threat. Their first cars were because of Kalandani.
twale umfana ifo kunsi ati abale basunga bwino no mama guys.
Last 13 point.
Yeah.
But this is someone who was supporting music even before Kalandani music promotion. You know what I mean? If you go back to even my album Ghetto President, it's got a number of songs where I say Kalandani music.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's because he was sponsoring the music even before then. But us, me, Rich Busy, Chester, Gaddafi, Dandy, we convinced him to just make this thing into like a business. So alitemwafe music umuntu omamkonvinza but avakamba sentuambe fe label. With the resources that you have and the ideas you have, the passion that you have for the music, I think we can change things. And during that time, Culinary Music Promotion and also Nexus Music came along. You could see how there was a proper shift and value was added to the industry. He just held everyone to a certain standard and he couldn't accept anything less.
Yeah. It was really, really good. Do you think the going down of Kalandanya music negatively affected the industry?
Definitely. Definitely. Kali muntu wako bati everybody was signed under Kalandanya music promotion with the exception of like my brother Funika, Chandana K, Zaven, J-Max, Neo, maybe like a handful of people. Everyone else, whether it's
signed,
Maps, JK, Exa, like a bunch of people were signed under Kalandanya music promotion. So for someone like that pulling out, and also just the amount of accusations that were attached to the brand because of politics and so on and so forth, it was quite unfortunate. I think we should be in a space where, especially now, like artists should be able to earn a living off making campaign songs. You know what I mean? Like and I know it's frustrating when people say it like this, like, when the business fee, uyu muntu adi fola elwa imbolo. But sometimes people feel like you have a responsibility to side with the people. So if the people feel like that's our oppressor, then you should not go and make a song for them. You know what I mean? So quite a and it's crazy they don't hold other people doing business at the same standard where they're not going to tell people printing t-shirts or hiring out sound systems or billboards to you know, that sort of thing. With everything else, even you guys who are on radio stations, it's a level playing field. We are a business and we are going to, whoever is paying, we are going to give them a spot. Somehow I just felt like it discouraged a lot of people from investing in music because of that whole backlash that went on after the election.
Let's talk about your Big Brother opportunity. How did it come by?
I don't even think it was an opportunity that was handed to me or that just magically appeared. I went to Big Brother in 2014. Now in 2014, I was the biggest thing out. Yeah. And I see a lot of younger artists now do things and feel like if when for twala Zambian music kuchalo, and almost do it in a way that they make it seem like the ones that came before were not progressive enough, or they didn't look at the bigger picture. They were just stuck in making music for the kombon or for. So now people want to sing in English and make their music more global and so on and so forth. There were a lot of people who tried what people are trying today. You know what I mean? JK and Kayombo were making music that was on MTV Base and Trace and Channel O. Akale no Ratma 2012, 2013. They were already shooting videos in South Africa and with the biggest studios. And they're already trying to put Zambia on the map. JK did a song with Fari Pupa, Yemi Alade, Oliver Mtukuzi. Like, they were pushing big.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even me at that particular point, I had already conquered Zambia. I was looking at how I was going to now cross over. And the biggest platform, continental platform, was Big Brother. So I went, stood in line, auditioned.
Oh, you actually did that?
Yeah.
Yeah, because a lot of people would have thought, oh, he's Macky too. You know, they just, hey, call him. Here is a contract, sign, you know?
Stood in line, went, auditioned, shortlisted, went to SA for my final interview, it, and ended up there. But even in the house, I made it clear, hey, I'm an artist, and I took part in all the Tuma musical activities that were there, just so I would position myself. So I think it helped my career to some extent, because now everywhere around the continent where I went after Big Brother, I was a familiar face.
Yeah.
But then you quickly realize that, hey, it's not just about you being a familiar face. There's a lot to this thing. And I always tell people, like, it's not just deciding to go international. There's a lot of structures that have to be put in place that make that thing possible. We have 54 countries on a continent. You can't tell, there are only maybe 6, 7 countries that are doing extremely well in terms of entertainment. Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Tanzania, Kenya, just a handful of them. And what they have in common, all these people, is they have some form of structure. It's the industry. It's not individuals trying to go international and push it. Even here, yeah, you can have 1 or 2 people go there and try and do, but we need to do this collectively. It's something that we need to structure and then now begin to compete. So that was like the hard truth I found out. Went to Big Brother, became a familiar face, but realized now you need publishing, you need distribution, you need all these other things that require not just networks, but money. Yeah.
Oh, I hear you. But you know, when you tell the story, it's a very good story to tell, especially for the young guns out there that would like to be like you. I think your story, in as far as Big Brother is concerned, tells me that you know, you can be great, but you can't sit and wait for opportunities.
No, you can't.
You know, sometimes you have to go through the motions to get to where you want to get, you know. There's many people, I actually thought it just, you know, like maybe they gave you special treatment. It came on a silver platter. It's shocking to know that you actually went through what everybody else went through, all the processes, you know. Let's speak about King Booga.
Yeah.
That was one great reality show.
Yeah.
How did it come about?
At that particular point, I'd already decided I was going to run in 2026.
Okay.
Yeah. So what people don't know is, for example, I declared my interest for that Nchanga seat in 2025 on Youth Day. Okay. That's when I declared I was going to run. So on Youth Day this year was a solid 1 year of doing it. So it's not something that I just woke up one day and did. It's something that, like, a lot of thought went into it. So when we decided we were going to do the TV show, I pitched it to Zambezi Magic, and I told them what we wanted to do. Because I felt like it was a good opportunity to bring people into my life and just show them that, hey, this guy's not just a rapper, entertainer. He's actually a husband, a father, a businessman. He does all these other things. Industry yesu yalikuwa tako ka perception. Musician tabomfwa bebange, you know what I mean?
Serious.
Yeah.
It's like DJs, man.
Yeah, exactly. But it's extended to a lot of things, you know, models, and it extends to a lot of things. So I just felt like people needed to see this side of my life, especially for what I wanted to do. So it's something that I intentionally did to open myself up a bit more and just show people a different side. We did 2 seasons. one season actually won Viewers' Choice Awards at the Multi Choice Shine Awards, Africa Magic Awards.
Is it Africa Magic Viewers Choice Awards? Iyo
Best
naiberenga
unscripted.
fe kaidita.
Oh, best unscripted.
That's nice. I know that you've got about 16 awards to your name. I could be wrong about the number, but what are some of the notable ones that we can talk about?
So the first time I won an award was actually in 2008 for a song called This Is Why I'm Hot. It was a cover for Memes' This Is Why I'm Hot. Yeah. Obviously a video on green screen. But that was the first time I won an award. And speak of longevity, blowing my own horn, but from 2008 up to last year, even last year's awards, every year I've won an award since.
Oh, yeah, nice.
That for me was the first one, so it was big. I always remember it. It was most controversial video, Born and Bred Awards 2008. But I've also won Album of the Year for Legendary. Album of the Year for Ghetto President.
Wonder.
Unfortunately, did not win any.
So
so those are the Ndimpondo was my first album.
Okay.
So maybe those were just albums that released.
Got over 250 songs?
Yeah, over 250 songs. Because there was a stretch, I think, between Legendary and Ghetto President. There's like 5 years where I didn't drop any album. They were just singles. And now more than ever, it's almost like every 2 months you have to have a song out. So we put out a lot of music. Ngatuamba ubika kuna ama feature na shan. Usangati ambo kuingira muli 1000.
Really quickly, before we get to your humanitarian side of things, 10 of 10. Is it 3 10 of 10?
Yeah, so
albums?
we did
this project. Can we speak about it? How did this go?
So immediately after I retired, I just pledged that I was going to do a lot of background work. I just felt like, apart from no, you need to leave the stage while people are still clapping. But also the reality is that what goes up must come down. There should be an end. Okay,
Yeah.
So in the industry, there's what is called prime time or 5 minutes of fame. You know what I mean? Quite the point yako but PJ ngakola mufe mulwimbo lowe. Ni smash it. PJ would be on stage and sing for like 2 hours. Inyimbo fe shabene. Makoras fe. You know what I mean? So I would say the same thing about there was a time when Danny dropped Yakumbuyo. Went to Mindolo Dam. Kufuma Kitwe. Kufika ku Mindolo Dam. Mimi yotoka nashi parking. Abade ya Mindolo Dam. Convoy. Nankan. Nashi parking afe. So every dog has got its day. So there was a time when I just felt like, oh, I did my bit and so when I retired, I knew that I always love music, I always record music, I always be able to put out music, but it's not something that I would do like this is my career, this is my bread and butter. I needed to somehow evolve into like a leadership role. And so I pledged I was going to help outshine a bit more light on younger, undiscovered talent. So the best way to do it, and I had already been doing it, you know, but I decided to just make it formal. So pick one artist from each province and make an album. So 10 of 10 artists from 10 provinces. Kwadi bafyo kwa kwebati na uya kumongu before taula imbapu kwa isafika artist akakobati wamfano mwensu ati balumba sana starting taraisa balerumbe because kena kadaimba muchitundu chavo
Kakulya.
kadaimba mutundu twako
Uh-huh.
vati they are very familiar, close to home.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? So
yeah.
you obviously you're a big artist, you're from Lusaka and people have come to see you, but that younger artist is more relatable to that audience. You know what I mean? So those are the people I was looking at. And we did it in a way that we involved the audience. So quite a fact, hello, Eastern Province, who do you want to represent your province? Yeah, so we did 3 albums that, Volume 1, Volume 2, and Volume 3. For Volume 3, in fact, what we did is we did an all-star version. We, instead of picking one artist, we picked 4 artists from each province.
Okay.
Mm.
Well done. I know that there's some other works that you've done through your foundation, the Hope Foundation,
Yeah.
in your personal capacity. How has this now transitioned into, or how has it helped you transition into your political career?
So first of all, when I started reaching out to artists and it wasn't something that was necessarily intentional. Whatever it feels to natural. If you want to that chimwe china chikwata talent chibudisheko fe pari. Iwe sa tuchite so na so na so na so. And there's a sense of fulfillment that I would get from just knowing I helped there and this boy's life might change. You know what I mean? So even like in Maps' situation, I'd recorded a bunch of verses in people's songs before Maps' situation. You know what I mean? So it just felt nice that even if someone never did it for you, but you know how it would have felt if someone did it for you. You know how much you needed it. You know what I mean? Hello, if we even if that's why to record for free.
Yes.
The potential. So in
Yeah.
So I decided to sort of carry that same thing and do it for other people. And sometimes they say like, yo, what you really pray for when you're helping people is that they don't even have to pay you back, but they need to do it to someone else.
Someone else,
You know
yes.
what I mean? Like I help you so that you can be able to help other people. Yeah.
That's really nice. So you filed in your nominations.
Oh, so
Your-
sorry, you mentioned the foundation.
The foundation,
I just
yeah.
want to speak on this real quick because I got a orphanage.
Yeah.
Sometimes panga ndaisa mkusanga fa ninkwata va ichino 4 pants. Twaisa ku orphanage.
Twaisa ku orphanage.
Ya transport
Uh-huh.
pa orphanage pan. But yeah, what we registered in 2012 is Macky 2 Hope Foundation. So it's a foundation because we realized we're already doing community work and stuff. So we just decided to formalize it. And for us, it was more like, hey, let's not wait for external help or big corporations to come and change our environments. We could do it ourselves. So even the projects that we did it with the community. But you just lobby from Premier Coatings used to have a shop in Ndola there. Wamwaranda kuna bena bari kwata corporate social responsibility. Ampera ko paint. Or Mwalanda, and then you'd paint the school with the community. So we've done a number of projects like that, but we've done it with the communities there where we're doing the project.
Okay. And where which community is this?
In different communities.
Different communities.
So for example, Nakurusaka Ida Libala Police Post.
Yeah.
I think this is like in 2014 or 15. We actually painted it.
Okay.
Then Masta lobby for paint and ABCD, and we painted it. I remember painted it with Maiko Zulu, T-Boy, and a number of people came through. Yeah.
Awesome. Let's speak about your political career. Nchanga. Why Nchanga?
So, and obviously I moved back to Chingola maybe almost a year now. I've been there. And there are a number of people, especially competitors, who say, yakurusa koyo. Hello, aisamkwi minna kuno, wakurusa koyo. But if in whatever field, if you are trying to make it big, obviously you think of okay, if this thing worked out at the best case scenario is tefini twale blow ako mune panga ndafa pamieno bali rwishiwa olwimu pane bata balwishiba but mieno fu bali rwishiba then wasa blow ako mu street bali rwishiba ko mu street ngira mu next street balwishiba then kuchipanda kumieno ka town konse copper belt nomba Zambia yonse. So in the same way I felt like me moving from Chingola to Ndola, I was in a bigger pond. Me moving from Ndola to Lusaka, I was now national. Chimwa wafuma pa district wa pa provincial, ero waisa nomba pa national. You know what I mean? It's the same way that Pats on Daka would go to England to play for Leicester, or Fashion Sakala would go to Saudi. At some point, when they come home and try and do things home, it's initially what they're supposed to do. You know what I mean? So for me, especially if I copper belt, quite about no waikala mu Lusaka 20 years, tumu wakalanda bakopala. You know what I mean? So that has always been there. And when I decided, okay, we're already doing community work, we're already serving the people, we're already trying to make an impact that's beyond us, the best place to start is my hometown, Chingola. I grew up there, I went to school there, I started my whole career there. That's home, that's the one place that I know like the back of my hand, you know what I mean? So that's how I ended up just going there. Even there, quite but ngo I mean kuside kuchingole kwa ba majera boy wari kwatako support sana ya majera boy.
Not ya boy hapa.
I tell them no, but I grew up there, that side, you know what I mean? That's home, that's where I went to church, that's where I became a man, you know what I mean? So that's why I went there.
How is it going so far?
Like I said, it's going great. Even before I decided to run, I had built a good name for myself. It's not like day tukana or you were putting out some questionable music videos where they told you to edit. I had already I'd already created a respectable reputation, you know, and I expected it to be harder than it is, if I'm being honest, because I understood, one, if you are a musician or entertainer, like there's a huge difference to being a community leader. Because here, it's not entertainment. People's lives are at stake. They need someone who's sober, someone who's serious, someone who's can really execute. So quite a bit, and sometimes I find this very offensive. Sorry, I'm all over the place.
No. Let's go.
So quite a bit uyu maktu na imwe ngaba MP uyu na imwe ni musician uyu bamanyimbo fyabo. You know, that sort of thing. And to some extent, it's okay, you know what I mean, for people to feel that way, because like me personally, I actually like it. I've been underrated my whole life. When I was starting out, the things that I eventually did, people thought were impossible. Like, you where you are from is ukove kuchingola kabundis na the only big artists we know are Glorious Band. It felt like a far-fetched dream when I was telling them I was going to be one of the biggest artists in the but I eventually did it. So even now, when I tell people this, it's people doubting me even makes me want to prove them wrong. It gives me morale. Oh, okay, I'll show you. I understood how there's going to be people who feel that way, no matter how popular I am, but they're just people who won't take me as a community leader, or just feel like, we love you as an artist, but politician, So I knew I had to do a lot of convincing, and that's something that we've intentionally done very well. That's why I mentioned we pitched that show to Zambezi Magic to show people that we are more than just what people hear or see in the music. There's a different side to it. And for artists specifically and people in the entertainment industry, we deal with people all the time. For you to write a hit song, you must understand what people are going through, and you must write a song that people can relate to. So for someone to have done this for all these years, for more than 20 years of writing music and putting out messages that people can relate to, then I understand Zambian psychologically. So I believe it's going great, and no matter how popular or familiar we might be, we just are doing the work, which means show people that, hey, yeah, I'm this, I can do community service and ABCD, but look, I have also read the Constitution. I also know the roles of an MP, legislation, I know representation, I know all these things. I know exactly what I'm doing. So it's not just, hey, I'm Maktu, I'm a familiar face, so vote for me. I know what people are going through na background. In fact, like what our manifesto is basically a document that is written by the people. Kwadi bafe namwe yafe mkwikala na abantu mwamfu ama issues yabo fe we know fe, not perception or written by you what you think, but our whole armor is based on what people have said and told us.
When I hear, obviously, I was being given a briefing before the shoot. You spoke a lot about some of the community things, the community projects you're doing for the people of Unchanga, and how dedicated you are to this cause. It made me realize that, look, this guy is just not doing this for the people in Changa, maybe because of wanting to be elected, but I've heard it here when artists have spoken about how much you've helped them without you wanting anything in return. I'll give an example. I had Dismo who said, Makitu gave me 30,000 to shoot a music video. You understand? That's not a story you will tell, but it's a story they're telling. And for me, it's like, okay, this guy's got a big heart. So we wish you good luck in Nchanga.
Thank you so much.
But why did you choose to stand as an independent? Is there a reason?
First of all, I don't know how to say this politically correct. But I'm really unapologetic about being independent. You know what I mean? Because I feel like sometimes party politics restrict people. If you belong to a team, then you are already compromised because you now have to defend, or at least I expected to defend the team's position. And sometimes I see people where even if that position is wrong, they are supporting it because they feel like, I'll feel like I'm not a team player if I'm not supporting this thing. For what we want to do, and I've worked great in different teams with different people. I have no issues with working with people. Even just like in Chingola right now, you find out people from different parties. I get along with them. You know what I mean? So I have no problem working within the system. But sometimes if you want to change the system from within the system, it's the system that eventually changes you.
It's impossible.
Yeah. So we decided to be as independent as possible so that what we want to do is not compromised by systems that have been built over time. And we are championing young people in leadership. So you should present a very fresh, bring something fresh to the table. You should be able to look at the board with fresh eyes.
If I was to ask a question, like, what are the two main things that the people in Changa are in dire need of?
So, contrary to popular belief, Nchanga is actually vast. It's a big constituency. There are actually 57,000 registered voters. See, I'm listed in there under population, there under power registered voters. These days they would post it, man.
Chapwa.
How old are you? 14. Okay, we are interested in people above. But yeah, it's a vast constituency, and different areas need different things. Kwali bokwa kwebati uku kwemkulanda kwefiaso uku the emergency need is the urgent need is this. But overall, Chingola is a mining town. So most of that, the economy is as a result of work from the mines.
From the mines, yeah.
So it means that I'm a contractors, but contract, but they are like a vast. In fact, the majority in terms of our payment, contractors. Their working conditions are bad. They need proper representation. Of course, we want to support our mines. We want our mines to keep running. They contribute to the economy, not just of the district, but of the country and so on. Yeah. And we want to support them and encourage them to do more and invest more. But our people need to be taken care of. So kula wafe compromise mufide mwasanga somewhere where the people that drive or make that same mine work are also kept nicely. Yeah. So our contractors need proper representation so that they have better working conditions. Our small scale miners, chalo chesu ulia mukuba wesu ufide bade bomba. Yeah. And I'm not saying I'm supporting illegality or illegal mining. There's a way that we could still do it legally, and there are safe ways of doing it. Whether we have to give out people to artisanal mining licenses after they form cooperatives, or we have to do certain safety trainings and so on and so forth. But we have to find a solution where our people are working. Why I'm big on all these people working, especially the ones in the mines, is because I understand what happens when those people are okay. Trickle down mu community fear.
It's got a trickle down effect.
Yeah. So everything starts with that, because now then my job or the government's job is now just creating like a conducive environment for all these people to thrive. But believe me, once everybody, whether ni marketeer, ni taxi driver, and bus driver, impia ngemo shiri as a result of major board or contractors, there's a way that the town just thrives. So because our dream is to make our constituency self-sustaining, and our people self-reliant, not dependent on outside lobbying and so on and so forth. Those are the things that are at the core of our manifesto. Access to clean water and clean and drainages and so on and so forth. How do we make sure that AENAMA, CDF grants and loans and empowerments, whether it's for youth or women, are given fairly? Yeah, so skills training, and there are a number of things that we've lined up. Please just go on our page and our very simplified manifesto is there. Iri inginga tu amkulondolera abantu mu community netsunguta kwa hapa. And the last 1 year when I've been doing a lot of community engagements, na isangati nechibe mbache nito wale muna wadishiba sangati tawaishiba kari chirefu aikani chiri ya
chari pusana chari ibera
kwa chiri cha kuche chiri
cha muchinshi.
Yeah. So we go and explain to our people exactly what we want to do, and we also understand that this is bigger than us, and this is something that we've consistently told people. Like, I believe I live a comfortable life, you know. De kalafe wino chula. Oh, da chula ko wino ya kumiesa. Chula ko wino. So, you know, I hate talking about this, but someone told me, you need to tell them so that they think you didn't steal CDF money. Yeah, I drive a Hummer, I drive a Bentley. I'm not doing it for me, really. I just feel like there's a way that I feel fulfilled when I feel like I've apana tuwomba kofe pachitika kofe something. You know what I mean? And for me, a lot of young people who've felt like politics are dirty, politics are older. I know like me going through is going to encourage a lot of young people to feel motivated to do the same. And going into parliament is just one thing. Like doing something tangible with that opportunity is the point. Kwadi ba idea yako bati shidefwa ikabe idea yako bati mamon twalibepera aba neno opportunity.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I know there's a lot of weight on my shoulders to deliver after August. So me, I'm not even looking at August. We're running a solid campaign. We haven't even just rolled out the proper campaign. We'll roll it out next month. So I know we'll be good. But what we do after August is really what the point is. Yeah.
How you balancing your political career with family, and also in answering that, are you getting a lot of family support? Because obviously this is something different.
Yeah. I don't know if you've asked Sheffy this or if you've had a moment to talk about this, but yeah, ever about non-partisan, but you know what I mean? Even in 2016 when he was offered man, even in 2021 when everybody had a campaign song, he said no, even after being offered $1 million kwacha to
I asked him, I said, are you going to do a song for your brother? Does anyone remember? What did he say? I don't think the answer was he has to believe in the cause.
Yeah,
but no, because we're brothers. How?
Yeah, but generally I think everybody's been supportive. My immediate family, like my wife and my kids, it's actually like a conversation that I had to have with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because this is not just something that's affecting you, it's affecting everybody. And it's like for example, music. I signed up for it. Yeah, all the evil that comes with you being the public eye, you having no privacy or people wanting to, all that stuff. I signed up for it. They didn't. That's why I've tried to keep my family away from social media and just the public eye. So this is something I had to sit down with my wife and say like, oh, this is what I want to do and so on and so forth. And when I got a green light, it was good to go.
Great. We usually have questions from our previous guests, questions directed at our next guest who they don't even know. So I'll give you the opportunity to also ask a question to the guest that's coming after you. But your question reads, if you were to trend, what wouldn't you want to trend for?
Obviously yabapo nankana yabantu batrending lapho iblow affair serious yako ati omuntu utuma nudes twaliking itako lya chipondo pansi mawan ida kweyakufana ku Cape Town 6 months
You're cooling off.
Yeah, but I don't think that would ever happen. And if it did, I didn't take that picture or whatever.
What's your question to our next guest? Any question.
So quite a way that do not ask what the country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country. So to my next guest, what are you doing for your country?
Okay. Very interesting question. As we wind up, why should the people of Nchanga vote for you?
I think more than all these qualifications, like you must know the Constitution, because you're going to there to create laws and do a lot of legislative work. You're going to sit on these committees, and you're going to hold the government accountable, and you're going to do all these things. You are pretty much the constituency's representative. Apart from all that good stuff, I think at the core of it, the intentions should be pure, because it starts from there. I believe with all my heart that my intentions are pure, and I really want to do the right thing. If you are looking for reasons to discredit me, there are a lot of them. You'll find them. You don't have to go nokutadi. Yeah. But I think the good outweighs the bad. My intentions are pure, and every time that I say I'm going to do something, I always make it happen. That dream that we have for Nchanga to be self-sustaining, for our people to be less dependent on outside lobbying and stuff is possible, and I'm going to see it through.
Okay. So I know on a lighter note, I know that you either go back to Ngangula tonight or tomorrow, whenever. But when you go mposhako Sparks.
Akapoint.
Sparks babantu balenda mukamulete Sparks.
Final boss.
Huh? So bale mfuaya but kuya mposhako Sparks.
Alamwe bata bale kufuaya okubakeni.
That's right.
Yeah, but so even people like Sparks, this is a young man who's risen up the ranks. You know what I mean? Even before Sparks, there were a lot of people. Shout out to people like Deborah Rich, Young Son, Washimumbi. There were a lot of people who did a lot of that business. What he's been able to do is form like a proper business. When you go to his office, you could tell like Filefia wujera bofe rimbi, ya sharafe rimbi, rishinafe. Adi yalushafe ni a proper
corporate entity.
I don't even think it's small scale mining anymore. Adi pangafe a proper business. And for someone like me who grew up in Ngangula, and for a lot of young people who are into small scale mining and so on and so forth, like he's really like a proper role model. Like I keep saying, like the things that you read about in newspapers or see on TV, it's not the same with umuntu ale monare chula. Elo amona ashita chichesa cha fwa. Oh ashita gotipa. Oh pagalu ka boss. You know what I mean? And just how he's still been able to give back to the community and so on and so forth is amazing. I wish we could have a lot more people like him who people have seen rise to become as big as he's become.
Great. Big shout out to Sparks. I hope we have you on the show one day. Macky too. All the best. Good luck. Your story is inspirational. I know that a lot of people watching have really, really been inspired, and I think we've given them additional information about the person that you are. And thank you for trusting us with your story.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. It's an honor. The last 1 year, I said I was not going to do any interviews, and I promised that if I'm going to do the first one would be on your show. And fathers without
Twarisa papa iri. Ati umuntu.
But
but also it's very important. Big shout out to Big Flo. We're watching what you're doing.
Yeah, I love
Good
what
job.
he's doing.
Yeah.
And again, I only did it because I knew like, oh, this is something different. This is something that men need, that like a platform where they could just vent and talk about men issues. So big shout out to Big Flo. But yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
This has been the Kenny T One-on-One podcast, brought to you by Yatu T. My name is Kenny T. I'm back again next week. Same place, same space.